My name is Muhammad Farid Akmal bin Muhammad Shukri. In my part, I will be discuss the different meaning between primary and secondary particulate matter pollutant. So guys, what is primary particulate matter? Primary particulate matter pollutant are directly emitted into the atmosphere as a solid or liquid particle from source such as industrial process, vehicle emission and construction activity. In contrast, secondary particulate matter pollutants are not directly emitted. Instead, they form in the atmosphere through chemical reaction involving such as sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide and volatile organic compound. Okay, next, we move to the next part. The sources of primary and secondary air pollutant are categorized based on their emission processes. Primary air pollutant originate from natural sources such as dust from barren lands, volatile organic compound like isoferrin from vegetation, smoke and from forest fire, and also sulfur, chlorine and ash from volcanic activity. Next, artificial sources include oxides of nitrogen from vehicle, fossil fuel combustion and solid fuel combustion for cooking and heating. Stationary sources comprise thermal and coal-fired power plant, while mobile sources include automobile, aircraft, farm vehicle and boats. The sources for secondary air pollutant are from atmospheric chemical reaction involving primary pollutant like oxide of nitrogen and volatile organic carbon. Man-made sources include ozone formed from hydrocarbon and oxide of nitrogen in sunlight, nitrogen dioxide formed from NO and oxygen, and acid rain formed from sulfur dioxide or nitrogen oxide reaction with water. And lastly, natural sources of secondary pollutant include volcanoes, ocean and biological decay.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Syazwan bin Ahmad Sabri. So today I will explain about the example and effect of primary and secondary air particulate matter pollutant. For example of primary pollutant, first is nitrogen oxide, carbon monoxide, volatile organic compound, sulfur oxide, particulate matter and mercury. For example of secondary pollutant, first we have sulfate particle, next is nitrate particles, organic aerosol, secondary organic aerosol and ammonium particle. Moving on to the effect of primary particulate matter pollutant. First, respiratory issues. Second, cardiovascular problem. Net is reduced lung function. Net is premature mortality. Net is reduced visible and environmental damage. Net is effect of secondary particulate matter pollutant. First is respiratory and cardiovascular issues. Second is acid rains. Net is haze, climate change and environmental damage.
My name is Muhammad Daniel, and now I will discuss how to control primary and secondary air pollution. Regulatory measures, which is implement and enforce air quality standards and regulation that limit the emission of particulate matter from various sources, including industrial facilities, power plant, vehicle and construction site. That set emission limits for specific pollutants known to contribute to particulate matter formation such as sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, volatile organic compounds and particulate matter itself. Technology solution, which is invest in pollution control technologies and equipment for industrial processes, power plant and other stationary sources of emission, may include particulate matter control device such as electrostatic precipitator, fabric filter and scrubbers. Encourage the use of cleaner and more efficient combustion technologies in vehicles such as catalytic converters, diesel particulate filter and selective catalytic reduction system for reducing nitrogen oxide emissions. How to control primary and secondary air pollution is behavioral changes, which is encourage individuals to adopt environmental friendly practices such as carpooling, using public transportation, biking, or walking instead of driving alone. Raise public awareness about the health effect of particulate matter pollution and the importance of taking action to reduce exposure, such as avoiding outdoor activities during high pollution days and using indoor air filtration system.
So for the regulations for primary and secondary air particulate matters pollutants, firstly is emission standard for vehicles and industries. Establish stringent emission standard for vehicles. So Malaysian vehicle emission standard follows Euro emission standards, which regulate emissions of nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbon and particulate matter from vehicles. As of recent updates, Malaysia has adopted Euro 4M standard for petrol and Euro 5 for diesel vehicles. Next is clean energy policies. Promote the use of cleaner fuels, providing tax incentive, subsidies and grants that support the development and adoption of renewable energy sources such as solar, wind and biomass. The Sustainable Energy Development Authority SEDA in Malaysia plays a key role in promoting renewable energy through initiatives like the Feed-in Tariff (FIT) mechanism. Last but not least is the regulation of industrial process. Implement pollution control measure sectors. Require the use of technology such as electrostatic precipitators, baghouse filters and scrubbers to capture particulate matter and other pollutants before they are released into the atmosphere. Compliance with the Environmental Quality Clean Air Regulations 2014-2014 is mandatory.